I'm actually finally doing well this time. Alright, hit the loops. Okay, whatever. Don't need the last one. I'm almost there. No. Okay, get the boost. Okay, we can still make it. Are you serious?
I'm gonna go ahead and kick this video off by making a rather bold claim. Mario Kart is the most accessible video game franchise ever. What's the one game everyone and their dog claims they're able to beat you at without ever actually having played against you before? Everybody's got memories of scrambling to select their favorite characters before you do, but then when they move on to the next screen, you can never agree on what stage you want to play on. I've never been challenged to anything more in my entire life. It's a franchise that has dominated living rooms since 1992, and since then has continued to be on and off TV screens. And when you have a home video game console that is also designed to be portable, you therefore have a system that is guaranteed to have Mario Kart on it. I have been fortunate enough to have played a wide variety of games in the Mario Kart series, the first of which being Mario Kart 64 for the, well, Nintendo 64. But what happened to the other 63 Mario Kart games before Mario Kart 64? After that, it was Super Circuit for the GBA, and then I skipped a whole lot of generations to get to Mario Kart Wii. Since I never actually owned a GameCube, I discovered the wonders that is Double Dash on my school's computers, where passing around copies of the game along with effectively became our school's version of an underground smuggling ring. Shortly after that, I was one of 17 people in the world that bought a Wii U. Pretty late into its life cycle, and secondhand nonetheless. And when I saw that it had Mario Kart, I figured, I'll just wait a year or so until the newest one comes out on Switch. Cue the next what felt like a billion years later when I finally got my hands on a Switch. I walked back into my local game store and was greeted with the great surprise of... Mario Kart 8? Wait, didn't that come out on Wii U already? Oh, it's the deluxe version. Right, the
deluxe version. Right. The deluxe version. I didn't grind Breath of the Wild on my Wii U for 3 years for this!
It's true. Mario Kart 8 has been the latest mainline installment of the Mario Kart franchise for 7 whole years, only to then get tickled some more on April of 2017 when it was re-released on the Switch. Since then, there's been virtually no mention of Mario Kart on Nintendo consoles at all, even less so about it being on any portable devices. None whatsoever. Not one single entry in the Mario Kart series on mobile devices since then.
Know your fucking place, trash!
People and journalists alike are clamoring for any sort of news regarding a proper sequel in the franchise, yet Nintendo continues to keep quiet about it all this time. It's almost starting to feel like they want to treat their franchise more like a cash grab than a mainline Nintendo series. Basically, every piece of information that's floating around as of this moment is all speculation. But what all do we really know about this upcoming and brand new game? But that's not going to stop me from talking about my experiences with Mario Kart 8, specifically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Which brings me to the topic of this video at hand. I want to know, does this Mario Kart still stand the test of time as being the definitive Mario Kart experience for Switch users? I mean, do we really need a brand new game that's full of content when we already have one that is chock full of it? Or is the series practically begging for a seriously big overhaul? I'm here today to list some pros and cons, in my opinion, to see where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does really well, and some areas that could be improved on in a sequel.
A quick side note here that pretty much anything I say in this video is based off of my own impressions, and this is not only after playing the game, but virtually beating it to 100% completion, like getting pretty damn close to it. So I think it's safe to say that, good old Mario Kart here had a pretty lengthy stay in my Switch for a while. And I mean, anything that you disagree with can be freely expressed and thoroughly discussed in the comments section below.
So without further ado, let's go into the pros of the video. I cannot believe I wrote that fucking joke. Oh my god. To start off the list of pros, you get to play as Link! And Isabelle and villagers, I guess. Maybe it's just the Smash Brothers fanboy in me, but I definitely think introducing characters outside of the Mario franchise is
inevitable.
I don't expect there to be a huge variety in the end. Like, I don't need third-party characters to be in there anytime soon because, you know, this is Mario Kart, not Dynica Patrick's Grand Prix. Regardless, having at least Link in there was super cool for me as a hardcore Zelda fan, and I really hate to get into a con this early into the pros section, but Captain Falcon! What the hell, man? This would have been the perfect revival for him outside of Smash. Like, you've already got the F-Zero courses and the Mii costume. Was it a licensing issue? Could you not get the voice actor? Or maybe they're just holding out for a sequel because, boy, howdy would they be holding out! Getting back on track with the pros list here, I think a fairly obvious few to mention are the wide variety of new tracks in the game, as well as refreshing takes on some of the throwback courses. The courses introduce both a great deal of familiarity while also introducing new concepts that fuel veteran gamers' nostalgia, and stimulates their brain folds by not just copy-pasting from their original games. However, you can't just talk about the courses themselves without mentioning a crucial and fundamental, downright necessary part of the course. No, part of the Mario Kart experience. The new items are kind of cool, I guess. Oh yeah, and the soundtrack, baby! Oh man, oh shit! Dolphin Shoals, bro, that saxophone can fucking get it! Legitimately though, the soundtrack is phenomenal. Go up top to the search bar and you can practically witness a sea of videos talking about why the music in Mario Kart 8 is so amazing. I'm not going to be the one to go ahead and explain why it's so good, but if you've played the game, then there's bound to be at least one melody out of the hundreds of live instruments that have subconsciously solidified itself in your mind while you played, like it did for me. As a musician myself, this kind of stuff is a really important part of a game to me, and the team behind Mario Kart 8 absolutely did not fail to leave their mark. Moving on to how the game actually plays, one of the key features that I found myself using a lot in my playthrough is the auto acceleration. Chances are that when you're playing at some of the slower speeds the game has to offer, your thumb is never going to leave that acceleration button. So having that feature definitely helped me out when it came to those sections. It was nice to be able to take the focus away from one part of the controller to allow me to concentrate on doing things like pulling off sharp drifts and aiming my green shells. Smart steering was an interesting feature to add as well, however, I never really found myself using it nearly as much as the auto acceleration. I like being in control of what I'm doing, and the smart steering, although it kept me on the course, removed a lot of the action consequence style of learning that I'm used to. When the game automatically does something for you to combat what you did wrong, you're not actually learning how to get better. You're just letting the game do it for you and circumventing any sort of maneuvering yourself. So when you run into a similar situation on another map, or you keep making the same mistake over and over, there's no guarantee that the assistance is going to do the exact same thing every time for you, or if it'll really be all that beneficial. When I talked to my friends about what they thought of the feature, the less experienced ones said it slowed them down, oddly enough, and the more experienced players said it often forced them to stay on the main course every time they tried to skip or take a shortcut. Obviously, I think it's safe to say that the feature was made with little babbies in mind who don't know any better to be able to play on Rainbow Road without falling off every 5 seconds, so considering that much, it's a nice feature to have for the people who need it. Overall, the quality of life improvements on the game offer a very accessible entry into the series, where little babbies as well as full-grown adults can appreciate the action and difficulty that the game can present in the forms of its various CCs, especially the brand new 200cc option for those die-hard fans looking for a true challenge. But not every aspect of the game is hunky-dory. The majority of the problems that I have with it actually stem from the previously mentioned 200cc mode, so before I get into my criticisms on that mode specifically, I'd like to go ahead and start naming the cons. Let me go ahead and preface this section by saying that for the first half of my playthrough, aka breezing through the Grand Prix on lower speeds, most of these factors were not a problem for me. I spent a lot of my time just trying to complete those speeds as fast as possible, so any frustration that I may have experienced in that time mostly falls back on that point. One thing that tipped me off almost immediately at the very start, however, was the fact that there was no option to remap the buttons. Even Sonic All-Stars Racing has the option to switch between different presets, but Mario Kart offers no such thing. I myself am pretty accustomed to acceleration and drift controls being placed on any one of the triggers, what with resembling the left and right pedals on a real car, but Mario Kart forces you to use the A button to accelerate, no matter what. Luckily, this problem was pretty much resolved for me by turning on the auto acceleration option, but initially I was a bit bothered and confused by the lack of freedom with my controls. Thankfully, changing controls was not super crucial to my enjoyment of the game, but for people with accessibility issues, I could see this possibly being a deal breaker for them. Speaking of features not being there, something similar can be said about features that are there, but do next to nothing when adjusted, like the stats on the various cars. They do nothing. Can you see where I'm going with this? People might get mad at me for saying this, but I found virtually no difference when it came to actually balancing the stats. The only things I noticed that had a genuine effect on how the game was played were the different size tiers between characters, heavier characters generally being faster than others but slightly harder to control, and that some of the vehicles, bikes more specifically, offer a sharper drifting radius than some other vehicles. But when it comes to the rest of the stats, I genuinely don't believe the individual stats really contribute anything to the overall game. Now, I can't exactly prove that they don't do anything. I'm not here to data mine the game or explain any technical garble. This is just my own impressions on the gameplay after all, but I can safely say that if they did, then they offered a very minuscule amount of a difference in my opinion. Another thing that I have absolutely no proof for, even after Googling it to see what other people say, I feel like the game suffers from a really bad case of balancing in the middle of matches. I found myself in many scenarios that, no matter how you paint it, felt like the game was punishing me for simply being good at the game. And I mean, I get it. If you didn't have OP items like those, then you'd run into issues. Mario Party does the same thing with its bonus stars, and you have to balance the game for little brothers playing against their siblings and more experienced friends, but why does it have to just feel like such bullshit every time? Now that I've gotten my daily intake of salt for the day, the ending ceremony, albeit simple, I found kinda lame considering the amount of effort that's gone into previous award ceremonies. Showcasing the winners on a podium or shooting off champagne. I would have liked at least something showing off how cool you are by getting first place, but now you're left with just short replays of the match and then a rotating trophy at the end. Ooh, it's floating! Bring back the giant fish, man! I want to see Wario getting blown up by a bob-omb, damn it! Now that's enough nitpicking for 10 minutes. The problems that I would like to get into now are the ones that were the most glaring, the ones that affected me the most, the ones that were inherently obvious once I started playing the 200cc mode. And this one was by far the most antagonizing, the most downright insulting one to me.
Why is it that every time I lose, it's to a baby? No, seriously, hear me out on this. Why is it that every time I'm doing well in a race, getting first place in the first few laps or so, I'm always struck with the most impossible combination of RNG to happen to me, just out of sheer chance, and then I get passed by baby Daisy? Is it me? Am I the baby? Can my mind not handle the complexity that is 200cc? Maybe I do need auto steering enabled.
Let me be clear about one thing first. I understand that 200cc is supposed to be hard. Like, really hard. More challenging than I think any other Mario Kart mode or setting to this day. I recognize that it is meant to push your limits and truly test your skills when it comes to racing. That does not mean that it automatically excuses itself from the problems I believe are present when playing this mode. For starters, I think the most glaring issue with 200cc, for real this time, is the fact that some of the maps, just plain and simple, are not built for 200cc. Now, I'm sure the developers took their time to make sure every map was at least compatible with the speed, but that doesn't mean that they are all fully optimized to work well with it. Some maps that gave me the most trouble in particular are Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, Baby Park, and Neo Bowser's Bullshit Bonanza. On these tracks, you're driving so goddamn fast you're practically getting whiplash on every turn, and the game is now forcing you to play as carefully as possible while somehow not getting past. The unfortunate thing is, one of the most fun parts of the game for me, nailing turns and getting the drift boosts, becomes almost entirely negated when playing on 200cc. Boosts can actively feel like punishments when you're trying to nail a sharper turn, only to then get pushed off by the edge by your own little perk you received by drifting in the first place. It adds an extra layer of complexity that is not only frustrating, but goes against this one core function the game has made sure you were utilizing up until this point. 200cc encourages you to slow down and brake more and take your turns nice and easy, but doesn't allow you to easily gain back your momentum after you lose it. In other words, it doesn't back itself up. It trusts you to use your learned skills to their fullest potential, but offers a backwards level of gameplay that doesn't fulfill its own goals. Again, this doesn't apply to every map in the game, but it was definitely frustrating enough to be talked about in detail. And by far, the worst part of this entire ordeal is that there's no simple retry or start over option. You have to quit the race, back out all the way to the main menu, pick race, pick Grand Prix, pick the speed, pick your character, match through every single option, pick the course, and then finally you can do it again. Go ahead and just watch how long it takes.
Shit! I'm just gonna do that again. Okay. First loading screen here. Okay, here we go. Yep, single player. Grand Prix 200. All the same settings as before. I'm not changing anything. Alright. Second loading screen. And it's going to start up again, so we might as well start mashing again. Yep, there it is. There it is. I really hope I don't have to do that again. I mean, I feel pretty good about this one, I think. Oh, son of a bitch!
This many seconds that could have been saved with a retry here button, and poof, your map is reloaded and good to go.
See what I mean? It's forcing you to be aware and stay hyper-focused and ready to replay the match as many times as possible, but it doesn't offer a proper means of doing so. And that, in and of itself, is a frustrating game experience.
Because of this whole ordeal, races can start to feel more like a chore and less of something you're doing to test your own skill, because it becomes increasingly obvious that it's not because of your skill, but rather your ability to refresh your muscle memory and play the game completely differently than what you're used to. Sometimes, I actually end up feeling grateful for when a lightning bolt hits me, because that means everyone else is also finally slowing down a bit, and I can possibly make my way back up again. But it's things like those and other factors that make some wins honestly feel like a complete stroke of luck. And I question to myself how I even won some of these in the first place. I guess in some cases this would be fine for those of you that just jumped into 200cc without playing any of the other modes or other Mario Kart games for that matter, but I feel like my point still stands. Speaking of lightning bolts, I had a huge section of this video planned to go into detail about the different items in the game and how they affect the gameplay overall, but I decided that it wasn't worth including, as it could honestly stand as a video in and of itself. So I hope to have a video released in the future that goes into detail about how I would rank the items and how I feel they affect the overall experience, both in regular gameplay and in 200cc. So if that sounds interesting to you, then why not subscribe? I have lots of ideas like these in the works, and this channel is only in its infancy as far as I'm aware, so feel free to do so and ring the bell as well so that you receive a push notification at the very moment I publish the video. If I had to mention anything about them as a sort of a teaser leading up to that video, I'll say this much. The fundamental rules that I've come to teach myself in regards to items in the game are as follows. The item that's most important is the one that stops your opponent, which is not always an offensive item. Grabbing coins is no longer a priority. As far as I'm concerned, all they do is increase speed, which leads into my next point. Speed up items are useless. Slowing down is better than falling off, and if you can get your opponent to stall or fall off, then that should be your priority. On that note, I think I can comfortably say that my experiences with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe were generally positive. I had a blast playing it outside of the 200cc mode, and I mean, despite everything that I said already, 200cc, like, not every factor of it was that bad. I may have some strong opinions, but this series is very near and dear to my heart, and I can only hope that the next installment lives up to its expectations, both in quality and its eventual release date. Come on, Nintendo, come on. Give us a little something. How long has it been now? 7, 8 years almost? You're bound to have something cooking up back there. I mean, come on. Just tell me where it is. I won't tell anyone. Just give us the goods. Okay? And with all that being said, I think I'm gonna leave the topic of this video up to you guys. Do you think that the Mario Kart series is still waiting on a sequel? Or is Mario Kart 8 just as good as it was day one? Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the subject, or just tell me what you thought about this video. I'm really interested to hearing what you have to say, and I will be sure to read every single one. But for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in until the very end of this video. I genuinely appreciate it. If you really liked it, you can also leave a like on the video, and if you really liked it, you can subscribe and stay in tune for any sort of future videos that come up on this channel. And for those of you that did stick around to the end of this video, I present to you whatever this is. You know, consider it my internal monologue. You know, whatever has been eating away at me as long as it's been taking me to edit this video, I guess. Yeah, enjoy that, and I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm done.